These are the weirdest jobs Homer has ever had. Homer becomes an astronaut and almost dies in the process. Deep Space Homer opens with Homer thinking no one respects him and he hasn't done anything worthwhile in his life.
TV respects me. It laughs with me, not at me.
You stupid.
Not a good moment to turn it on. Meanwhile, NASA is launching people into space, but nobody is watching it because it's so boring. They decide to find a common blue-collar man, and they'll send him into space. But they don't need to search for someone like that because Homer just called them.
Listen, I'm sick of your boring space launches. Now I'm just an ordinary blue-collar slob.
He just saved them a lot of work. NASA takes Homer and Barney for testing to see if they can become astronauts.
I'd like to present the new generation of NASA astronaut, the average American.
That just looks embarrassing. Between Homer and Barney, Homer is surely gonna win. At least that's what everyone thought. But since Barney had to stop drinking, he really shaped up, and after a series of tests, they chose him.
It begins!
Give me that! Stop him!
The NASA people looked confused and said,
That was non-alcoholic champagne.
the men tell Homer that he's the winner now, by default.
Default! Woohoo!
At least he's proud of himself. On the day of the launch, Homer got scared and he didn't want to go through with it. He told Marge that being an astronaut is how he got her to respect him. But Marge told him she met him when he wasn't an astronaut.
But I still respected you, and I always will, no matter what.
Marge told him that if he didn't take advantage of the opportunity, he could end up regretting it for the rest of his life. Homer realized Marge was right, and he decided to go to space after all.
Hey guys, look what I smuggled aboard.
Homer, no!
The other guys said that the chips will clog the instruments.
I'll take care of this.
We didn't think it would be any other way. But then he hit his head into the ants, and they scattered across the ship.
The ants are shorting out our navigation system!
The solution seems pretty obvious to me. They realize they can just open the door and that everything that is not bolted into place will just fly outside. But Homer let go and he almost flew into space. But he held on to the handle and then it broke.
With that hatch open, we'll burn up on re-entry!
Well, Homer, you just sealed your destiny. But then Homer pulled out a seemingly radioactive bar and sealed the door shut.
If that bar holds, we just might make it back to Earth.
I'll bash you.
It's not the time. They managed to get back to Earth and the journalists asked them how they got back safely.
Homer Simpson was the real hero here. He jury-rigged the door closed using this.
And again, the rod outshined him.
I got gypped.
Oh, homie, you should be proud. Only a handful of people have done what you've done.
Yes, only you almost got your crew killed for a bag of chips. And then later on, he almost got himself killed because he wanted to be a freak. Homer's on a mission to prove he's still hip. Homer Palooza opens with Homer trying to prove he's cool, so he takes Bart and Lisa to a festival called Hullabalooza. After desperately trying to fit in, he realizes that times have changed.
Dad, you cannot wear that. That's a Rastafarian hat.
Hey, I've been safarian since before you were born.
Okay, cultural appropriation. Homer was feeling defeated after not being able to connect with his kids, and he kicks a cannon, taking a cannonball to the gut.
Oh man, here goes Peter Frampton's big finale.
Turns out Homer's beer belly is the real MVP of this episode. A man comes up to him and tells him he runs the freak show, and
I've been looking for a big fatso to shoot with a cannon. I'd like very much for you to be that fatso.
well, don't embarrass yourself like that. The man asks Homer if he wants to go with them on tour.
I don't think I have a choice, Marge.
Of course you have a choice.
How do you figure?
For starters, you don't have to join the freak show. The gig takes off and Homer's touring with the freaks, getting shot with cannonballs night after night.
I finally tapped into that spirit of self-destruction that makes rock and roll the king of music.
He's living the rock star life. Well, the part where you groan in pain and pop aspirin like candy. Homer's loving the attention, but the toll starts showing. Bruises, limping, and a stomach that's starting to resemble a punching bag. He brushes it off, determined to keep up with the cool kids, but the guy who hired him sends him to the vet and sends all his freaks too. The vet tells him that the cannonballs have wrecked his stomach, and he tells him that from now on, no cannonballs.
No spicy foods. And when you lie in a hammock, please rest your beer on your head or your genitals.
Okay, good to know. Homer says that he's a rock star and he doesn't care for rules, but the vet assures him of the seriousness. He tells Homer that if he takes one more cannonball to the gut, he will die.
Well, you don't scare me, Doc, 'cause dying would be a stone groove.
Homer, I think you should listen to the man. The next show is supposed to be in Springfield, and Homer won't disappoint his town or his family. Especially not after he saw how proud of him Bart was.
What's with all the questions?
Just some report I gotta do for school.
Now he really can't disappoint him. Homer's stomach doesn't stop making that awful sound, and he's getting worried, but he's determined to push through the pain.
The man who embodies everything about rock and roll except the music.
Finally, a career where Homer's ability to absorb pain is a resume highlight. But unfortunately, his ability to absorb pain is wearing off, and he doesn't know what to do. He steps on stage and is waiting for the cannonball to be fired at him.
Okay, Homer, don't fear the Reaper. Oh, I'm gonna die.
Here's a thought. Just get off stage. They fire up the cannon, but as the ball was about to hit him, he jumped aside.
Oh, Marge, I thought I had an appetite for destruction, but all I wanted was a club sandwich.
Oh, poor homie. Maybe next time he'll think some more before agreeing to be hit with cannonballs.
I'll miss you, Pumpkins, but I just can't share your bleak worldview. I've got too much to live for.
Well, duh. A family of 5 didn't cross your mind before?
So, I realized that being with my family is more important than being cool.
Homer's back to square one, but at least his stomach's still in one piece. Mostly. But it didn't stay like that for long, because Homer enrolls in Krusty's Clown College and he starts working as a clown. Homie the Clown starts with Krusty drowning in debt, so he opens a clown college to cash in, and Homer, mesmerized by a billboard ad, starts thinking about it.
That advertisement had no effect on me whatsoever.
You sure about that, Homer? Lenny comes over to tell Homer that the section he's supposed to be monitoring is on fire.
Clowns are funny.
Yes, Homer, yes they are. Homer came home, and as he was having dinner with his family, he couldn't stop seeing them as clowns.
I'm going to clown college.
I don't think any of us expected him to say that.
So, regular college is for losers. But clown college is right up his alley. Homer enrolls at Krusty's Clown College, trading his power plant job for a squirting flower. Though his early attempts at clowning don't really scream natural talent.
Okay, we'll start off with the baggy what? Those are supposed to be baggy pants. Baggy!
As far as Homer is concerned, he's never had a better pair in his life. Homer also can't pull off one of Krusty's best tricks.
Steady, steady.
With his figure, he'll never pull it off. He sticks with it, graduates, and starts gigging. But his uncanny resemblance to Krusty has everyone from kids to cops doing double takes.
There's your giraffe, little girl.
I'm a boy.
That's the spirit. Never give up.
But the clown job isn't as easy as Homer thought.
I thought it would be nothing but glory. You know, the glory of being a clown.
If that job is glorious, what's your current job?
But when I see the smiles on their little faces, I just know they're getting ready to jab me with something.
Damn, Homer. That's dark. But there are still some perks to being a clown and looking like a Krusty doppelganger. Chief Wiggum waves off a speeding ticket. Homer is surprised to know that he gets a 5% off everything in the store.
Just because I look like, just because I am Krusty the Clown?
Well, at least try not to look so surprised. But then Fat Tony and his posse show up and demand Krusty pay up or else.
Go ahead and kill me. Oh, hey, all right, okay, already.
He's all talk. Fat Tony says they'll be taking him for a ride, but Krusty sneaks out and runs. They search for him, but they find Homer instead.
What you diddly doing, neighbor?
I'm putting speed holes in my car.
But then someone shoots and Flanders falls down.
Wow, lucky I always keep a Bible close to my heart.
Then someone fires again.
Lucky I was wearing an extra large piece of the true cross today.
Nettie, I think you should steer clear from Homer.
What keeps doing that?
I told you we should have bought more than 3 bullets. Let's just grab him.
Tony, you cheapskate. Tony and his posse abduct Homer, and he keeps trying to explain to them that he isn't actually Krusty.
I'm Homer Simpson!
The same Homer Simpson who crashed his car through the wall of our club?
Maybe he should get a new identity. Homer was brought to Fat Tony's club where they demanded he pay up. But he didn't have the money, so they told him if he does the tiny bike trick, they'll let him go. Krusty bursts in just in time.
You came here to save me!
Yeah.
Krusty endangers Homer once again by switching them up so the mob can't tell them apart, but Homer blows it.
Good one, Krusty!
Oh, crap.
They demand that Krusty and Homer do the trick together now, or they'll kill them both. Homer and Krusty team up for survival, and they make it by dumb luck, and the mob, mildly amused, decides not to whack them. Yet.
So we're even now, huh?
No, we just won't kill you.
Krusty sighs and gives him the $48 he owes them.
Here's 50. And to your change, and we thank you.
Well, at least Homer's not sleeping with the fishes. But there's one thing I never thought I'd see Homer do, and that is dabble in arts. Homer botches a DIY barbecue pit project. But when the mess gets mistaken for avant-garde art, he lands a gig as an outsider artist. Mom and Pop Art opens with Homer failing at his attempt to assemble a barbecue. So he tries to return it to the store, but they won't take whatever that is. He then tries to dump it, but Chief Wiggum won't allow him to do so.
I'll never get rid of it. It'll follow me to the end of the earth.
You mean your failure? But then, luckily for him, his bumper falls off. But what's lucky for Homer, 10 out of 10 times, means it's unlucky for someone else.
Not my fault. Act of God, act of God.
Damn, he didn't even stop to see if the person's okay. The next day, a lady came by to tell him that his thing hit her car. But she's not there to sue him. She owns an art gallery, and she says she'd love to display his piece.
This isn't art, just a barbecue that pushed me over the edge. Didn't you? Didn't you?
And now he's talking to the barbecue. Good. The lady tells him that art isn't just pretty pictures. Rather,
it's an expression of raw human emotion. In your case, rage.
Oh, I got that, lady.
And a lot of it, apparently. So Homer displays his art at a gallery, and what do you know, Mr. Burns buys it.
Congratulations, Homer! You're now a professional artist.
Turns out Homer's temper tantrums are worth more than his day job at the plant. Homer is taken with this new revelation, and he decides to become an outsider artist. Marge is skeptical about it, and she asks Homer if he could consider that maybe his sculpture was a fluke. He said he's always been interested in art, dating back to
my schoolgirl days when I painted portrait after portrait of Ringo Starr.
That's my life you're describing.
Okay, Marge, slow down a bit. Since the key to Homer's heart is his anger, he needs something to enrage him so he could create art. And what better to do that than his kids?
Well, I'm flunking math, and the other day I was a little attracted to Milhouse.
Yeah, that should get him going. After his first show was a success, the gallery decided to hold a show devoted to him entirely.
Whoa! It's like Marge's dream come true for me.
And you don't see anything wrong with that. But Homer's show doesn't go well at all.
What's going on here? You weirdos love this stuff.
Maybe you shouldn't call them weirdos. They explain that his work has gone from hip and new to old and boring, and it isn't shocking at all.
Come back! I'm a god to you! Worship me! Or fear my wrath! Oh, please fear my wrath!
That's just pathetic. Marge walks Homer through the gallery and she shows him the works of great artists throughout history.
These guys are geniuses. I could never think of something like soup or a pencil.
When he came home, Lisa told him that maybe he should try something radical, like an outdoor project.
Lisa, that's it! I've got an idea for a wonderful art project that'll make everyone love me again.
And here we go again. First, he and Bart stole all the doormats in town, then they went to the zoo and put snorkels on the animals.
Are you sure this is art, not vandalism?
That's for the courts to decide, son.
Good thinking. Morning came and Homer announced to everyone in Springfield that they're witnessing his latest work.
Homer, what have you done?
It's conceptual art. The Grand Canals of Springfield.
Honestly, bold move. Didn't expect that.
I have to admit, you created something people really love. You truly are an artist.
From an artist to a critic. Is there anything Homer hasn't done? Homer lands a gig as a food critic for the Springfield Shopper, turning his love for eating into a job. Guess who's coming to criticize dinner? Starts when Lisa's school paper needs a chaperone for a trip to the newspaper, and Homer tags along, only to stumble into the critic role after the old one quits.
We're looking for a new food critic, someone who doesn't immediately poo-poo everything he eats.
Homer replies that it usually takes a few hours. Well, how do I politely put this? Duh. The guy asks Homer to write a 500-word sample review, and if he passes, they'll hire him.
This is a joke, right? I mean, this is the stupidest thing I've ever read.
Yeah, well, if you knew Homer, it would probably be the best thing he's ever written.
And at the end, you repeat the words, "Screw Flanders," over and over again.
Damn, he's that bad? Homer tells the editor that the review is actually a joke, and he goes home and Lisa helps him write a new one.
What's the English equivalent for I'd say transcendent.
Actually, that's the perfect way to describe it. Lisa keeps editing his ramblings into something readable, but the other critics mock him for being too nice, pushing him to sharpen his tongue. They tell him that the only bad review he gave
was to a slice of pizza you found under the couch.
It lost some points because it had a Hot Wheel on it.
Okay, I get where they're coming from. The next time Homer went to a restaurant, he decided to give the food a bad review.
Dad, that's so mean.
The other critics told me to be mean, and you should always give in to peer pressure.
That's really bad advice. Homer really started giving out bad reviews like that was the only option he had.
Chopper, you good! Stamenge!
Well, I hope you cut me better than you did these string beans.
Homer's gone from everything's delicious to everything's a crime scene overnight. He even rated Marge's pork chops lower.
People change, Marge. My palate has grown more sophisticated.
Oh, yeah? What's a palate?
Like he could ever get past Marge. Lisa told him he was being cruel for no reason and she won't help him anymore. The next week, a food festival was supposed to come to Springfield and Homer was going to be criticizing the food, so all the restaurant owners gathered and decided they need to take him down.
This eclair is over 1 million calories, 25 pounds of butter per square inch.
So they're gonna kill him with pastry. Good. Symbolic. The festival rolls around and the restaurant owners prepare the killer eclair.
The giant eclair will knock Homer off the food page and into the obituaries.
Don't mind Homer dying. Have a good laugh first. Bart tells Marge and Lisa about this and Marge isn't even surprised. Marge says that only Homer could take a part-time job at a small-town paper.
And wind up the target of international assassins.
Well, that's Homer for you. They split up to find him and Lisa sees him coming up to the eclair stand.
It's gonna kill you!
I've had a good run.
Well, when you've been hearing that food will kill you basically every day of your life, you kind of just tune it out.
It's low fat!
No!
God forbid he eats something low-fat.
Dad?
I know, honey. The important thing is... Run!
It's weird how he almost got killed while being a food critic, but nothing even fazed him while he was working for a criminal. Homer scores a dream job at Globex Corporation, prompting the Simpsons to uproot from Springfield to the utopian Cypress Creek. Though his new boss's supervillain vibes soon complicate things. It all starts when a mysterious offer lands on his doorstep, promising better pay and a fresh start. And Homer's too dazzled by the perks to notice the red flags.
You took a new job in a strange town without discussing it with your family?
Why not?
Well, for starters,
Bart's lawyer is here.
And you know Bart, he's gonna need him. Homer shows them a video of Cypress Creek, a town where everything seems perfect. Marge agrees that they should move. They get to Cypress Creek and indeed everything is perfect. Too perfect. The house basically cleans itself and Marge has nothing to do while Homer's at work.
I've done all my housework and it's only 9:30. Well, better go upstairs and make sure the beds are still made.
Homer drives to his job, which seems to involve telling people to work harder. The pay is great, and Homer's blissfully unaware that Scorpio's plotting world domination on the side.
Could you, work any harder than this?
Sure thing, boss.
I see Homer likes being the man in charge for a change. But Homer isn't the only one who thinks he's doing a good job. His boss thinks so too. Mr. Scorpio says productivity is up 2%.
And it's all because of my motivational techniques, like donuts and the possibility of more donuts.
Homer sees that his team is starting to get tired, so he goes to Hank to ask him if he could get some business hammocks. As Hank was telling him where he could get hammocks, he had to step aside for a sec to do a business call.
I have the doomsday device. You have 72 hours to deliver the gold, or you face the consequences.
Is Homer just not going to react to all of this? No, I guess not, because they went straight back to the hammocks talk. The next day, Homer was looking for sugar, and he went into a room he's never been in before.
By the way, Homer, what's your least favorite country? Italy or France?
France.
Nobody ever says Italy.
Is he gonna nuke France? Homer was hanging out at Hank's office when Hank's enemy tried to escape, and Homer tackled him.
Nice work, Homer! Am I proud of you?
Well,
what is that man doing? Homer was telling his family about an amazing day he had at work, but they were all down. Lisa said she's allergic to everything in this town and she can't breathe. Marge is slowly becoming an alcoholic, and Bart is held back in class.
We want to go back to Springfield.
You've got to be kidding me. Homer said he's finally good at his job and he's really enjoying himself. And Marge tells him that it's his decision. Homer goes to talk to Hank, who's apparently in the middle of a battlefield.
I'm having a little trouble with the government.
Oh, those jerks always walking over to small businessman.
Homer, I don't think Hank's a small businessman. Homer explains to Hank his situation, and he tells Homer he can't argue with the little things.
It's the little things that make up life,
says Hank while throwing a grenade. Okay?
Homer, I'm disappointed, but I think you need to do what's best for your family.
He might be a war criminal, but he seems like a good man. Homer thanks Hank for everything, and he tells him,
Homer, on your way out, if you want to kill somebody, it would help me a lot.
Well, he did kick that grenade. Does that count? The family comes back to Springfield, and what do you know? I guess he is a war criminal. There's really no saying what Homer's gonna do next in his hunt for success. Homer tries to make money by selling grease. Lord of the Dance opens with Homer going to the Quickie Mart, and he realizes that his hot dog tastes different. He asks Apu about it, and he tells him that it hasn't been soaking in grease.
I sold it all to the rendering plant.
People buy grease?
Honestly, I didn't know about it either. Apu says that people use it for all sorts of stuff, and Homer connects the dots.
Used grease is worth money? Then my arteries are clogged with yellow gold!
Well, maybe not that grease. Homer starts collecting leftover grease from bacon, but that will only get him so far. Marge scolded him for using her bacon, but he told her that he's busy achieving financial independence.
With cans of grease?
No, through savings and wise investments. Of course with grease.
That's really concerning. Homer won't let Bart go to school because...
You're in the grease business now.
Don't mind education, who needs that? Homer and Bart go to sell grease, but it only makes them 63 cents.
Dad, all that bacon cost $27.
Yeah, but your mom paid for that.
And where does Marge get her money from, Homer? But in order to earn more, they need to expand their business. So Bart came up with the idea to get it from Krusty Burger.
There must be $20 worth of grease on his forehead alone.
I was thinking more of the deep fryer.
Homer, sometimes you just disgust me. Homer starts pumping the grease into his car.
Mom's gonna kill you.
If she didn't want her car ruined, she should have done a better job hiding her keys.
But then the grease just disappeared. And it turns out that some guys pumped it out of Homer's car.
We run the grease racket in this town.
I guess the grease business is oversaturated. Homer feels down and he tells Marge that there's just no point because he's been muscled out of everything he's ever done. Marge asks him if he could try some other crazy business idea, like...
You could raise some emus.
Emus? Really?
Why does that shock him, but the grease business doesn't? But then Bart comes in with the final big score. But before they run off...
Dear Lord, I know you're busy, seeing as how you can watch women changing clothes and all that.
Excuse me?
I promise we'll donate half the profits to charity.
Dad, he's not stupid.
All right, screw it, let's roll.
And at least he's honest with himself. They roll up to the school and Bart says that the grease traps in the kitchen have never been emptied. But they run into Willie and he starts chasing them through the vents.
Not so fast, boyo. Well, if it was up to me, I'd let you go. But the lads have a temper.
Damn, Willie is a really violent person. But while Willie was punching and choking Homer, no one noticed something.
The hose!
Bart, please. The groundskeeper and I are trying to settle this like adults.
The hose bursts and the grease spreads in the school where the kids were having a dance.
That's my grease! It's mine! Give it here!
Oh, Homer, just give up. But from trying to catch grease to starting his own security company, Homer has come a long way. Homer becomes the new head of Springfield's police. Papa's got a brand new badge, opens with Springfield facing a big heat wave, and the power is running out. Instead of conserving energy, Homer plugged in a Santa Claus toy and he made the whole town lose power.
Oh, every time Santa and I get together, it's a disaster.
What does that tell you, Homer? The people start looting and rioting and Chief Wiggum can't stop them. Marge says she doesn't feel safe in Springfield because they don't have better police. She tells Homer that this is all his fault and he says he won't feel guilty until he can put a human face on this. Lisa comes in crying because someone stole her Malibu Stacy doll.
Marge, doesn't Lisa have a human face?
Yes, and she's crying.
So, Homer, what are you gonna do now? Homer says he's gonna find Lisa's dolls and he starts investigating. He finds a cap on the tree branch and he goes to the store that sells it. And at that moment, Jimbo walks in and says he needs a new cap. Homer shook him and asked him if he stole Lisa's dolls.
I think they demean women.
Well, think again, son. You're going to juvie.
Wow, Homer the Vigilante. Homer says that he feels good that he finally followed through on something, and that stopping criminals is fun. Later, he was at the Quickie Mart and he saw Snake Jailbird trying to rob Apu, but there was no police in sight.
Jeez! Oh, that's muy
Conti!
Later, Homer was talking to Marge and he told her that he's had a lot of jobs, but protecting Springfield gave him the best feeling. Marge told him that if he liked it so much, he could make that his job, like starting a security company.
Finally, a way to combine my love of helping people with my love of hurting people.
This is gonna end horribly. Lenny and Carl join him and soon people start really respecting him for what he's doing. Marge told Bart and Lisa that they could hold their heads up high now.
I didn't know my chin went that far up. Ugh. Oh, yeah, that's the pride.
That's so nice to see, but at the same time, so sad. The mayor takes away Chief Wiggum's badge and he turns over the town's police duties to Homer and his spring shield. But Homer made a powerful enemy. He arrested Fat Tony and his crew, and Springfield officially became free of crime. But Fat Tony won't go down without a fight.
My associates and I will gun down Homer Simpson if he has not left town by noon tomorrow.
That's quite a threat. At the next town meeting, Homer explained his situation, and he asked the people of Springfield to stand by him. The only person who said he'd fight with him was Ned Flanders. Homer can't believe that after everything he's done for them, no one will stand by him. Marge told him that he should just leave town, but Homer won't do it. Fat Tony came by and he demanded to see Homer. Marge asked him how he could do this, perpetuating a negative Italian-American stereotype.
You could be a pizza man, organ grinder, leaning tower maker.
And those aren't stereotypes?
You are listing my broken dreams.
He's a sad, sad man. Homer steps out and tells Fat Tony that he could kill him, but then someone else will take his place, and so on.
All right, let's do it.
Dibs on the crotch.
But then someone starts shooting and shoots Fat Tony's people in the arm. When all of them were down, Homer said he doesn't want the badge anymore and he gave it to Chief Wiggum. But the chief said he wasn't the one who shot at Fat Tony's people.
I must have a guardian angel with a rifle.
Oh, yes you do.
Time to check in on our little sweetie pie.
Oh, she's taking a nap.
Well, Maggie also has a job in the house, making sure everyone is safe. At least her job isn't so demeaning. Homer becomes a personal assistant for Hollywood superstars. When You Dish Upon a Star opens with the family going on a lake trip, and Homer goes parasailing. But since he wanted to go higher and higher, the boat motor caught on fire and the rope broke. He flew a bit until he fell through the roof into someone's house.
Sorry, lady. I know you! You're Kim Basinger!
It's Basinger.
Only Homer could fall right into the bed of a movie star.
You think you could slide over a little?
Well, I am a married man.
You're crushing my husband.
Oh, that must have hurt.
Billy Baldwin!
I'm Alec Baldwin. Could you get off me?
Yeah, that should have been the first thing Homer did. Homer asked them what are two big Hollywood stars doing in Springfield, and they said that they needed to get away from Hollywood and LA. They really like Springfield because they have a lot of privacy here.
Most people don't even know where Springfield is.
Yeah, tell you the truth, I'm not even sure.
And we'll never know. They tell Homer that they don't even go shopping, or leave the house for that matter. Homer suggests that he could do their shopping and a lot of things for them.
Well, we are down to our last roll of toilet paper.
And I have been brushing my teeth with hair gel for a week.
That's disgusting. But they make sure that Homer understands that they don't want anyone knowing that they're in Springfield. Homer promises that he will keep their secret. He leaves the house and finds his family, and they ask him where he landed.
We're famous.
Where'd you get that muffin?
So many questions, yet no answers. One day, while Homer was hanging out with the stars, someone rang the doorbell.
Ron Howard?
Yeah, I'm looking for Alec Baldwin and Kim Basinger.
Alec Baldwin and Kim Basinger?
He's still in disbelief.
What's with him?
Oh, that's just Homer. He's a new friend of ours.
Really? You giant stars consider me a friend?
Homer's dreams have become true. But unfortunately for Homer, that friendship was about to end. Bo was talking about how he saw Kent Brockman the other day and everyone was going crazy about it because Kent is a big shot in Springfield.
Please.
Oh, what? I suppose you've seen a bigger star.
I might have.
He's about to risk a legitimate friendship over what? A few seconds of fame in front of his other friends? Homer starts thinking about it and he tells everyone, but he tells them they must keep it a secret.
But you got to keep it much more secret than I did.
He couldn't have just lied and said he saw someone else. The next day when he was hanging out with his movie star friends, they saw a mob of people coming towards the house. They run inside and immediately realize that Homer was the one who talked.
But you don't know what it's like to be a nobody. I just wanted to bask in your reflected glory.
Yeah, and he doesn't know what it's like to have zero privacy. They tell him they can't be friends anymore, and Homer leaves. Homer was pouting all day, and Lisa reminded him that the celebrities canned him, and Then he realized,
those big shot stars used me up and spit me out.
well, you were more like an employee than a real friend. Homer then realized he still has his car full of their stuff, so he decides to earn some money from it. He drives in front of their house where the fans were still camping, trying to get a glimpse of the celebrities.
Only $5. No, wait, $10. You heard right, $20.
Homer, the businessman that you are. Meanwhile, the stars were packing up and they saw pictures with Homer and thought they should forgive him. But then they went outside.
I'm too important to take Homer to the Oscars.
What the?
Gotta go.
He really didn't need that. But Homer has come a long way from being someone's assistant. After losing his job, Homer decides to become a paramedic. And Marge tries to write her first novel. Diatribe of a Mad Housewife opens with Homer losing his job at the power plant. Again. And he decides to start working as a paramedic.
Guess what? I quit my job as a used car salesman.
You work at the nuclear plant.
Get with the program.
Maybe you should get with the program of keeping a job. Homer starts working as a paramedic and he isn't really that good at it. I mean, besides the fact that he doesn't have any training.
Where to, Mac?
For the third time, the hospital.
Where else?
Hospital, eh? Wow, everyone's going there tonight.
He should have just gotten a taxi. Lisa tells Homer that he's been driving in circles for 20 minutes.
Why don't you just admit you don't know where the hospital is?
Why don't you admit I know it's around here somewhere?
Yes, and how's the patient doing all this time? Meanwhile, Marge is writing her first novel and she's very excited to tell Homer about it. But when he comes home and has no interest in hearing what her day was like, he only wants dinner.
And the kids need some CPR lessons.
We're not paramedics.
I'll say.
And why are the kids the ones performing CPR? This makes Marge completely change her novel and the character becomes based on Homer. And not as good characteristics. She finishes the novel, but she won't publish it until Homer reads it first.
Oh, 286 pages.
It's double-spaced.
Woohoo, I'm halfway through.
That's some math right there. Homer tries to read Marge's book, but he keeps falling asleep. And by the end of the day, he doesn't read it. But that didn't stop him from lying to Marge and telling her that he did read it.
Did you like it?
I did.
If only she saw his face. Marge asked him if the characters bothered him at all, and he said they didn't. He wouldn't be saying that if he knew Marge's character was lusting over Ned Flanders.
Now for that happy period between the lie and the time it's found out.
But the lie came out sooner than Homer thought. Marge's book was all the rave, but not for the right reasons. Everyone saw through her characters, and Homer realized that and actually read the book.
How can you write such horrible things about me?
You told me you liked it. You didn't read it at all.
And the jig is up. Homer asked Marge if the thing she wrote about her in Flanders was true, and she said it was only her imagination.
Well, I'll make sure you never imagine anything again!
That doesn't sound good. Homer runs to Flanders, banging on his door, and Flanders gets in his car and escapes.
Flanders, pull over! I'm an ambulance!
Well, he's got me there.
He pulls over and runs out of the car and onto a cliff, and Homer follows him.
Dear Lord, please make Homer's blows precise and deadly with the minimum of pain.
Flanders also asks forgiveness for his impure thoughts. Flanders, you dog. Homer tells Ned that he's going to do something he should have done a long time ago.
Would you help me be a better husband?
Huh?
I didn't expect that. Homer said that in Marge's book, Ned was so nice, and he was so mean.
How can I be more like you? Just give me some advice.
Advice?
Ned is too stunned to speak. Marge got to them and she was afraid Homer was going to push Ned, but when she got closer, she heard they were talking.
The end of your book was the wake-up call I needed after falling asleep at the beginning of your book.
All's well that ends well, except that paramedic job, sheesh. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like and subscribe to the channel and let me know what your favorite side hustle was.